Michael Pringle, you're very welcome back to the Celtic Soul Podcast. It's Monday. It's we kick off another week. It's been an unbelievable busy week last week with so much drama at Celtic, and we have so much to talk about as with upcoming stuff as well. So, where do we start? Boycotts, fallouts, talks, the Scottish Cup, VAR, referees, new signings, postponements, Stuttgart away, Stuttgart at home, Livingston at home, Kilmarnock away. So much to talk about, Michael. But firstly, can I just thank you very much for the lift on Saturday to the game? I was on a late enough flight in and you dropped me to the ground. And I appreciate it because you were boycotting the game. You chose to boycott it. I chose to go and report on the boycott. But I will say, Michael, I didn't realise the stadium would be so empty until I took my seat in the main stand. Even in the main stand, which looked fairly full on the TV when I watched back on the highlights, there was empty seats to my left, empty seats to my right. And when I looked across the stadium, there was so many empty seats. And fair play to the fans who were there, who tried to get the atmosphere going at kick-off. The setting was lovely, the disco lights, the huddle under the lights, and then the game starting and Celtic fans, first couple of minutes trying to get the sing-song going, but without the ultras there to sustain it, it just didn't happen. And for most of the game, apart from when the goals were scored, it was frustrating. There was a lot of oohs and ahs and moaning. A couple of fans took there was only two or three, took the frustrations out on the board near the end of the second half before we scored. Obviously, it was such a late goal. Now, fair play to the fans. They did come to life when the Dundee, I think they brought, I don't know, Michael, was it 2,000?
Yeah, I think about 2,000. I'm not
They
sure,
were
obviously I
vocal.
wasn't in the stadium, so but
They
I'm guessing right about
they
2,000.
were vocal. They were the usual chants which we hear now, from away fans is keep the board. What a
Yeah,
shitey home support. But thankfully, when they sang the Billy Boys, it was booed out by the fans who were on the ground. Some estimated around 25,000 at the game. I think I'd have to go back, Michael, to Sterling Albion under Martin O'Neill in the League Cup, since I've been at a game with so few fans in the
yeah.
stadium. That was back in the early 2000s, I'd imagine. It was a Wednesday night. And now we face into some talks, but as we go to record this, the Celtic Collective and the Celtic Trust, who have done so much good work over the years, thankless work, have been excluded. So
Yeah.
is it a divide and conquer now?
It looks that way. It's pointless having the talks, I think, if you're going to exclude. You can talk about unity all you like. If you're going to exclude certain sections of the support, then you're not going to get unity at the end of it. Come back to Saturday, I respect everyone's right to attend or not attend, to make their decision for whatever reason. I'm not really that comfortable with boycotts because I prefer to be at the game, or at least choose to be at the game. But as you said, it was a low attendance, just over 24,000 for all accounts. And I think bar the Alkmaar friendly some years back, which was a somewhat hurriedly arranged fixture, where there was a couple of thousand. I think we've got to go back 13 years for the an attendance is low in a domestic competitive domestic game. Last season we had 3 home cup ties. I mean, some people saying the attendance wasn't that low and the boycott never had an effect and stuff, but I think they're deluded because we had Kilmarnock at home last season in the cup. We got 40,000. Rafe Rovers at home 40,000, and we had Hibs after that at home in the cup as well and 59,000. It was a full stadium. Season before we had Bucky, got 40,000 for a game against Bucky. And even the season before that, with Ange, we had Morton 40,000 and St Mirren 38,000. And these last 3 seasons, we were in the Champions League each of these seasons. So the supporters had extra outlay on tickets and stuff. So It definitely had an effect on Saturday. Whether that affects the board's thinking, as anybody's guess, no. But even this season, we had 46,000 against Falkirk in the League Cup earlier this season, which is normally notoriously poorly attended. Aye, and we got the result at the end of the day. I seen the video. A couple of guys having a go at Brian Wilson and stuff. But there's an easy solution to this. They just need to put the fans back. Put the fans back in the stadium. There's still going to be protests regardless until there's change and until there's change in the hierarchy. I don't think the support are under any illusions that we're going to get an ownership change or anything like that. But there needs to be accountability amongst the board to the support, which is something that's sadly lacking. And then on top of that, we've drawn Rangers. I mean, we're still in it. We spoke about this a few weeks ago, but we're still in the competitions. We could easily. We've got 10 days now between the end of this month and the 7th or maybe the 8th of March if the Rangers game's moved. But we've got 10 or 11 days there, which is going to define our season. We've got Stuttgart, and then we've got Rangers twice in the space of a week. And I think we've got Aberdeen away sandwiched in between the two games. So you could quite easily, your season could quite easily end within the space of that 10 or 11 days, or we could be on for a treble still. And it's quite incredible to think that, given everything that is going on, we're still in contention for a European last 16 place, a cup semi-final place, and we're still on for the league. So there's a lot to play for, but I think the board really needs to get together with the fans. I don't just mean a section of the fans. I mean, meet with the collective, see what I've got to say. Get the fans back in the ground. That's first and foremost. We need the fans back in the ground because the atmosphere is dire, and we're really going to need that. We're really going to need the fans backing. I think the team are really going to need that. We can't keep going on like this. It's been a long time now. I don't know how many games the fans have been banned for, and the result of that alleged or so-called assault was that they've got a number of supporters that are charged with breach of the peace. There's not been any assault charges, so I think Celtic really over-egged that. The board really over-egged that when they used that incident against Falkirk as the reason to beat us with a stick, so to speak. And obviously we've had the AGM in between times as well, and countless other things. So the board the criticism of the board isn't going to stop. But they really need to do something about the atmosphere and get the supporters back in, because it's just an absolute nonsense for me. No?
Yeah, we have a chance now after Brian Wilson's Celtic TV interview, which was better than nothing. And I'm happy that talks are happening. I wish they were all inclusive. I wish they were transparent, because I think when you have a divide and conquer nature, that groups go in and bat for themselves instead of as a collective, which
exactly
is always going to be better for everybody. For the independent season ticket holder, those in a supporters club, or those affiliated to an association, an ultras group, or indeed the Celtic Trust, or this new group that David Law was fronting. So I think collectively everybody is better together, and I think that's. It's been a huge problem in politics as well within the left in Ireland, because they can't unite, but yet the right wing in Ireland have united and they're getting stronger. So, but when they do unite, which they did in the Irish presidential elections, you got a left wing president of the country. So stronger. We are stronger together. But again, supporters clubs and associations, will do what their members ask them to do, or maybe they will just go off and not consult their members. But whatever the outcome is, the outcome has to be all fans allowed back in the stadium. Open up the standing section, because what are people like the ultras or not. And you know, I've heard so many comments. They think they run the club and that. I've never heard that from a Green Brigade member,
No,
or a boys
these
member.
people, these people probably have never met any of them. But these people that make these comments have probably never met any of them. They don't know any of them. You know what I mean? They just make assumptions on
Perception.
what they think they know. Aye, one perception. No, but
Yeah.
I was quite surprised that the boycott was, as I don't want to use the word successful, because I don't know if it'll achieve its aims at the end of the day, but it definitely was noticeable. The amount of people that stayed away. I've never been a fan of boycotting, as I've said, and I remember going back to the 80s. The Celtic Supporters Association called a boycott